The John Bunyan Trail, an 81-mile circular route starting and finishing in Bedford. In October 2021, I completed my pilgrimage along the John Bunyan Trail, which wends its way for 81 very interesting miles through Bunyan's rural Bedfordshire. I completed it in 8 relatively easy stages, starting in October 2020. The trail incorporates many of the places featured in Bunyan's classic masterpiece, The Pilgrim's Progress, which, after the Bible, is the most published book in the English language. It is an allegorical tale of triumph over adversity, about the main character, Christian, who undertakes a journey from the city of destruction to the celestial city. On his journey, he encounters a rich tapestry of characters and fiendish obstacles. The lessons it contains are as relevant today as they were when it was first written in 1678. I made a serious error when, years ago, I wrote off Bedfordshire as not being worth setting foot in. How wrong could I have been? Whoever would have thought it would be so interesting and absolutely worth exploring? My previous adventures on the Ouse Valley Way, and before that on the Icknield Way and the Greensand Ridge Walk, opened my eyes to some wonderful new terrain which I have been delighted to have discovered. Just take a look for yourselves in this and my other videos. This trail has been a complete eye-opener. This sign says that the trail, described from south to north, begins at Sundon Country Park in the beautiful Chiltern Hills, which are reputed to be Bunyan's delectable mountains. Today, pilgrims setting out on this trail pass through some of Bedfordshire's most attractive and scenic countryside, and can experience a variety of nostalgic places, full of interest and intrigue, connected with John Bunyan. Some of these places are associated with his travels as a tinker, while others are believed to be secret meeting places where he would preach in contravention of the laws then governing the established church. He was in fact imprisoned as a result of his non-conformist views and illegal preaching, and it was during his time in Bedford jail that his world-famous book, Pilgrim's Progress, was written. His book described his preaching activities, as well as many of the places which he visited, including the delectable mountains as seen from House Beautiful, Houghton House near Ampthill, which he recalls from a visit he made when plying his trade. Information about this legendary Puritan evangelist can be found in the Bunyan Meeting House and Museum in Mill Street, Bedford. Additional information can also be obtained at Moot Hall and Abbey Church in Elstow. Here is the start and end of the Bunyan Trail at the Bunyan Monument in the centre of Bedford, although you could actually start and finish anywhere along the trail since it is a circular route. The monument portrays scenes from the Pilgrim's Progress. This scene shows Christian talking to Evangelist at the Wicket Gate at the start of his journey. This scene depicts Christian laying down his burden. Stage 1, Bedford to Shefford, 13 miles. A charming house on my approach to Elstow, near Bunyan's Slough of Despond, or Elstow Brook. One of many charming houses in Elstow, the scene of Bunyan's youth and the inspiration for his City of Destruction. Elstow Abbey Church, formerly a Benedictine nunnery. Bunyan was christened there. Moot Hall in Elstow, formerly a market house, courthouse, nonconformist meeting house, and now a museum of 17th century rural life. It was the inspiration for Bunyan's Vanity Fair. There was a funeral taking place as I walked past Elstow Church, just in front of Bunyan's Wicket Gate. Hammer Hill, just outside Haynes, with great views across to Bedford and the Ouse Valley, Bunyan's Plain of Ease. Granary at Northwood Farm, just outside Haynes. Stage 2, Shefford to Barton-le-Clay, 9 miles. This house with the unknown intriguing symbols is in Apsley End Road in Shillington, almost opposite the entrance to Shillington Manor. I have failed spectacularly to find out what the symbols mean. Scene on a house in Shillington. Curious horse with Shillington Church in the background. Looking towards the Pegston Hills and the Icknield Way near Hexton, between Shillington and Barton-le-Clay. Stage 3, Barton-le-Clay to Streatley, 9 miles. The Barton Hills Nature Reserve, and home to one of the largest surviving collections of pasque flowers in the country. It also served as the inspiration for Bunyan's Delectable Mountains, along with the Chiltern Hills. When you are walking the trail, the high ridge to the north of Luton, which incorporates the Pegston Hills, the Barton Mills Nature Reserve, the Sharpenhoe Clappers, and the Sundon Hills, dominates the skyline, and it is very easy to understand the impact that these hills would have had on Bunyan. I was blessed with this marvellous vision of a rainbow as I walked past the Barton Hills Nature Reserve. This beautiful angelica flower was on the trail just below Streatley Church. Angelica is a useful expectorant for coughs, bronchitis and pleurisy, and good for easing flatulence. It stimulates the appetite and can be used for treating anorexia nervosa. Greater knapweed just outside Streatley. Greater knapweed has been used traditionally for treating flesh wounds, sore throats, bleeding gums and catarrh. Stage 4, Streatley to Harlington, 10 miles. Stunning views across the Bedfordshire countryside and the Ouse Valley from the Sundon Hills. 3 major trails cross in the Sundon Hills: the Icknield Way, the Bunyan Trail, and the Chiltern Way. Steep stuff in the Sundon Hills. Clunch Pit in the Sundon Hills. Old Man's Beard in the Sundon Hills, looking amazing in the autumn sunshine. Old Man's Beard has anti-inflammatory properties and is said to be good for treating various ailments such as skin irritations. The Sharpenhoe Clappers, a cathedral in the woods, variously suggested as the inspiration for Bunyan's Mount Pleasant, Mount Caution, or Celestial City. More steep stuff on the descent from the Sharpenhoe Clappers. Stage 5, Harlington to Ampthill, 9 miles. Harlington Church. Westoning Church. The town clock in the centre of Ampthill. Ampthill was also the scene of my personal Celestial City, because I walked the stages in a highly random order, using my own car, lifts, buses, and my very own faithful Sherpa. I actually completed my pilgrimage in Cranfield. I was then Sherpa'd back to the home of some good friends in Ampthill to celebrate. Stage 6, Ampthill to Cranfield via Ridgemont, 15.5 miles. This was my final stage. Here is St Andrew's C of E Church in Ampthill. This is Houghton House in Ampthill, Bunyan's House Beautiful. Ampthill Park, where the Catherine's Cross marks the site of a former castle which would have been Bunyan's Doubting Castle. Ampthill Park, and the possible inspiration for Bunyan's Byways of Danger and Destruction. This was probably Bunyan's Valley of the Shadow of Death, outside Millbrook Church. It's pretty steep and gloomy there, so it seems like a likely candidate. The ruins of Segenhoe Church near Ridgemont. There were some rather disturbing currents of what I experience as being negative energy there, so I did not linger there for long as I passed by. Stage 7, Cranfield to Bromham, 9 miles. Beautiful but highly poisonous black brownie berries. Bromham Bridge over the River Great Ouse. Stage 8, Bromham to Bedford, 10 miles. The Holy Well at Steventon Church, possibly Bunyan's sepulchre. This magical site is also featured in my chapter on the Ouse Valley Way, because the Ouse Valley Way and the Bunyan Trail run together between Pavenham and Bromham. Steventon Windmill. The River Ouse between Steventon and Pavenham. Yet another charming house in Pavenham. The Witchcraft Shop in Bedford, my candidate for the Celestial City. Lessons learnt. Bedfordshire is anything but boring. The lessons contained in Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress are as relevant today as they were when it was first written in 1648.